What's going on, everybody? Josh Engelman here, and that means that it is Sunday, and this is the night shift. Going to take a look at the upcoming slate for Monday, June 18th. A little bit of a weird one because we've got 10 games going for FanDuel, but only 9 on DraftKings. The Yankees-Nats makeup game is not on the DK slate. DK put this slate up a little early. They've got a bunch of big tournaments going. The Super Knuckleball, 100K to first, $5 buy-in looks pretty appealing for tomorrow. So since that slate's been out for a while, it didn't get the Yankees-Nats makeup game. So 10 games FanDuel, 9 games DK. Good news is, best game of the night, it's going to be on both slates, Rangers and Royals. As of right now, Rangers have a 4.8 run implied total, Royals 4.9. It's the epic Bartolo Colon, Ian Kennedy matchup, although if I'm remembering correctly as I'm saying this, Ian Kennedy rolled in his last start. I should probably look that up, but I'll just double check it during the morning show. This is going to be a game for bats if I've ever seen one. Loading up on both teams. I think a full game stack is absolutely in play right now. I expect it to be incredibly popular. Guys like Shin-Soo Choo, if he leads off, Delino to Shields, Andrews, Beltre, Mazzara, Odor, Joey Gallo. I mean, I'm going to go the whole way. Odor, 2,300 on FanDuel, insanely cheap. Gallo, 2,900. I know he's a lot of swing and miss there, but I'm going to have quite a bit of the Rangers. I just can't imagine not going the whole way if this lineup holds. Chirinos for 3,000 as a catcher option on DraftKings. I mean, give me a break. That's an absolute bargain. But I feel the same sort of way about the Royals side. Whether that's Whit Merrifield leading off, he's a little pricey on FanDuel, 3,700, but 3,800 on DK, great price. Dual eligibility makes it so much easier. Maybe if you wanted to fully stack this game up, you could use Merrifield as the second baseman instead of Odor if you wanted a little bit more, safety, I guess. And a little bit of differentiation maybe. Alex Gordon, only 2,900 on DraftKings, bargain price point. Moose Tacos, I'm surprised I didn't call him Moose Tacos there. 3,900 on both sites. So it's looking like the Royals pricing is not as advantageous on FanDuel, but still smashable just because of how low they get later on, like Hunter Dozier at 2,600 or Abraham Almonte at 2,300 for an outfield option. I'm going to end up liking most of this entire game outside of the pitching. Don't expect myself to get to a ton of Bartolo Colon or Ian Kennedy for that matter. If we're looking at any other teams, I'd say the Indians are probably looking like my number 3 stack as of right now. They're at home hosting the White Sox. Dylan Covey going for Chicago, and the Indians have Bauer on the hill. Monster line in that game, 69% chance to win for the Indians. Nice. This is another one where I'm just going to be smashing bats. The first 5 guys in particular for the Indians are looking like the best I've seen on the year type levels just because of their upside. Lindor, Brantley, Ramirez, Encarnacion, Alonso, all have just monstrous projections, whether that's FanDuel or DK. They even look great relative to their salary. I mean, don't get me wrong, you're paying up for guys like Lindor and Ramirez, but I think it's well worth it, especially like on FanDuel if you want to go after, I don't know, maybe like Kenta Maeda or something if you wanted to have a cheaper pitcher, maybe Nick Pivetta or, Andrew Suarez. I can see going in those sorts of directions to be able to pay up for an Indian stack. But I like the bottom 4 guys too. Like Jason Kipnis, 2,900 on FanDuel, 3,300 on DK. I love that price point for a second baseman. Lonnie Chisenhall is, I'd like to see him higher in the order at this price, but 2,700 on FanDuel is pretty cheap. 3,200 on DK. They'll both work. And then Roberto Perez and Tyler Naquin. Naquin in particular, minimum salary. They're both of those guys are minimum salary on FanDuel, but I like Naquin. Yeah, Nathan. Look, it's late, guys. It's 10:38. I'm going to stumble over lots of words here. Tyler Naquin in the wraparound at minimum salary, I think, is a nice outfielder to pair with some of these more expensive Indians bats. Indians 5.1 run implied total is the highest on the slate, actually. Second is the Mets, and then it goes to the Royals and the Rangers. So I expect the Indians to be quite popular tomorrow. Only thing that could slow them down really is just the expensive pitching. Cole, Bauer, and Jake DeGrom all over 11K on DK. DeGrom is going to be, super popular on FanDuel, or at least I would expect him to be, given that $9,000 price point. So he won't be. With the game being in Colorado, it'll limit him a bit, but DeGrom's not the type of guy that I'm super worried about in Colorado. So maybe that'll mute his ownership. I guess we won't know until the morning. But he's a guy that I'm going to be on for sure. I'm not worried about the Colorado game whatsoever. Rockies only have a 4.5 run implied total. Doesn't seem like the type of time to fade Colorado. So if I didn't give it away already, pitching that I'm looking at. On DK, I prefer Bauer to Cole, $600 cheaper. I just think the Indians are in a little bit better of a spot, and I'd rather have the savings. On FanDuel, Cole is actually cheaper than Bauer by $200. I have Bauer with a higher projection, however, so I'm going to be a little bit more focused on Bauer, but with these guys being essentially neck and neck, a lot of it will depend on ownership projections. So if one of those guys is significantly more than the other, I'll probably pivot a little bit because I'd say their chances are pretty similar finishing at the top. And then I think DeGrom slots in in a tier right behind the two of those guys. Like Cole and Bauer I have for essentially 43 fantasy points on FanDuel, 25 on DK. DeGrom coming in at 36 on FanDuel, 20 on DK. DeGrom is like 5 points ahead of anybody else on FanDuel, solid 3 ahead of everybody else on DK. So DeGrom's in his own little tier there. I think that'll make him... Man, I can't figure it out. I wonder if he'll get lost in the shuffle because of Colorado and being there. I hope he does, because he's somebody that I'm going to want to have relatively heavy exposure to, so long as it doesn't get squirrely in the predictions. I alluded to these guys earlier, but Nick Pivetta, someone that I'd be looking at, 7,500 on FanDuel, 7,300 on DK. He's actually got one of my higher K projections for the day. Fourth overall, actually, just ahead of Miles Mikolas. We looked that up. Mikolas. I'm probably still saying that incorrectly, but whatever. Andrew Suarez is a guy that pops up for me constantly. Tomorrow won't be any different. I'm probably giving Tyler Anderson more credit than I should because of this Coors game, but for some strange reason, I've got this weird idea that it's going to be a pitching duel. I'm going to be so wrong, but that's just this feeling I got down in my plums today. Yeah, it's going to be hard to not want to have some of these guys at the top. Like from Cole to Bauer to DeGrom, Maeda, Greinke, Mikolas, Berea, Caleb Smith misses tons of bats. Like there's an overwhelming amount of pitching for the slate. Just kind of exciting. I like days where I can rotate through some pitching options. Take one look here. Top home run prospect for tomorrow is Stanton. No surprise there. Joey Gallo coming in second. I think that's probably it for interesting stuff. So right now, so I mentioned Rangers and Royals to start. They're my number 1 and 2 projected stacks for tomorrow on DK. Royals are a little bit further down on FanDuel, but they might pop up closer to the top just because of their price point. They make things work. I do like the Brewers and the Indians as some other stacks on FanDuel if you're looking to get an early jump on some research. Yeah, that's about as fun. You know, the Mets have the nice implied total, but I think they're priced pretty accordingly. Alrighty, guys. I think that's probably it. I've been rambling long enough. There's not much else to say. Jake and I will be going over most of this in the morning. Jake will have a better take on these pitchers than I will. I'll like my stacks, and I'm going to load up on them. I think that Super Knuckleball is calling my name for tomorrow. So, like and subscribe if you're listening to this on iTunes. Thank you for subscribing to us on iTunes. We're really trying to build that up. So if you could put in a rating, that would be super awesome. Check out Spotlight Hitters, Stacks, and Pitchers in the morning. Jake and I will be live starting around 9 a.m. Eastern. Tune in if you have the ability. And then myself and Chris Spags will be back 6 o'clock, live before lock. Tune in. You might even get a quick hits in the middle of the day. Take a look at 2 hitters and a pitcher. And if I'm guessing right now, that pitcher is going to be DeGrom, and I'm going to put myself out there on a Coors game for a pitcher, but we'll see how that shakes out. Best of luck on your Monday DFSing, everybody, and I'll see you guys in the morning. Bye-bye.